Boontown, New Jersey in the house. Hey, what's up, Rob? Good to see you here tonight. Hey, man, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your host for the next 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. Yeah, that's right. It's Sunday night on the East Coast. We're going live with ShopTalk in just about 8 minutes here. I want to welcome everybody to Sunday night. This is it. This is the official. We made it through the weekday for us. We got tons of news and some great guests for you tonight. We're going to let the social media audience build up just a little bit, but stick with us here and throw up on the message board where you're from, man. Good to see you guys piling in. Ray Dreg, Smithfield, Virginia. What's up, baby? Just 8 minutes, and we're going live with ShopTalk. Oh, Rob, you know, it was funny. We started calling this thing the flagship show, almost tongue-in-cheek, but with the addition of Coast to Coast, if you guys didn't see that last week, we launched a brand new show with Chris Simmons. Incredible talent. It was so great. The show was awesome. Obviously, the guest was a total honor. Gloria, 95 years old on that night, but that makes 5 now. 5 shows that we're doing a week here from the Source Media Studios. And we want to thank you guys for that, because this is a blast for us to do. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it, but a lot of people are behind this, helping us, just like Rob Nussbaum, Steve Burrows. I want to give a shout out to him. So many people answering stupid questions for us as we learn our way through this, but you guys are the most important part of that. Stick around. We're going live 6.5 minutes. Counting down the clock right now, man. Don't go anywhere. Lauren Whitaker, yeah, we do need some help. Always need some help here, boy. I see that you guys are talking about CyberSwap this morning, and that's right. We hit a milestone. We sold our first big ticket item. If you guys aren't familiar with CyberSwap, every Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a little home shop and network version of motorcycle part swap. And today we sold our first big ticket item, which meant the live up for auction item at the end of the show actually sold. Steve Burrows sold an incredible 2004 Softail, and it went out the door for $5,500, boy. And when I tell you that thing was clean, it was clean. So just about 2 minutes left here, man. It looks like we got a nice big crowd watching. I want to thank you guys, especially everyone coming in from Choppertown Nation, everyone from the Cycle Source family joining us tonight. We're just 2 minutes out, so seeing that we got a little bit of a late start, we're pretty much on time. We're going to pull it out of the station, get it up on the tracks, and get ready to start Shop Talk. Go live. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callen, here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, 50 floors below the street level. And, man, we're ready to get down Sturgis. The countdown is on. We're getting ready. I got my crew here with me. What's up, crew?
Hey, howdy.
Got my crew.
All of a sudden we went all crew.
Is that good or bad? I don't know if crew is good or
I'm
bad.
not too sure. Usually when the cops call and say something about crew, it's not good.
I know. And speaking of Sturgis, so yeah, man, Sturgis countdown is on. We want to know which of you guys are coming. Like who's gonna be out there hanging out with us. We're interested in that.
I'm still debating. I'm really not sure if
yeah, you have no choice, so you can just give that up right now.
He always has a choice.
So let me pull your mic up a little bit, Blondie, while I send you off to social media land. Maybe you can send some shout outs.
Oh, I can do that. We got a bunch of people here tonight. Dave Courier is here. Brenda and Jack DeGazio. Oh, now I'm loud. Let's see. Rob Nussbaum, Russ Journey, Jeremy Sathers in the house.
Boston representing.
Boston. You don't say Boston.
I don't
That's
know how
just
to say
wrong.
It. I'm from Pittsburgh. We talk like this a lot.
Your cousin from Boston.
It's not Boston. Tom Banks is in the house. Karen Andrea, Ken Anderson, Miss Judy is in the house. Richard Hagan, hello from South Australia. Panheads rule. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I agree.
Richard, you obviously have very good taste in motorcycles.
So, hey, man, the point of us giving shout outs on social media, this is 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit, but you are the most important part of that. We want to know your comments, your questions, concerns, everything that's on your mind pertaining to motorcycles and the two-wheeled world. We're
two-wheeled
world. I said that right.
No, you didn't.
I almost went off the tracks with it.
In your head, you said it right.
Super Cycle Walt. What's that all about?
Is he
That's
from the
Walt
world?
Puro.
Coming from Cedar Falls, right on.
Iowa,
So great
Sturgis.
crowd tonight, man. Like I said, this is 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. We usually start that off with a little program we call the news. First up in the news tonight, this coming into us from Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Harley-Davidson eliminating 700 jobs. Chief Financial Officer John Olin has left the company. This has been a hard year for everybody, especially Harley-Davidson. eliminating 700 jobs, but this is the deal that we find out as you get into this story. It's actually, what did you say, Heather? Five or
200 of the jobs actually have been vacant anyway, so they're just eliminating those positions. Not that it's great that an additional 500 people by the end of the year will no longer be employed with Harley Davidson, but it's an effort to increase efficiency.
Yeah.
And they say this restructure is actually going to cost, I think it said somewhere in the neighborhood of 42 million to restructure, but in the long run, it has the potential to save 250 million for just this year. So obviously, if you can be more efficient and still get the job done and maybe do it a little better.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of companies are looking at right now is different ways to improve efficiency. For so long there's been talk about how we as the motorcycle industry needed to address the fact that we were going through changing times and kind of establish a new normal to do business from. It's good, healthy stuff that the company's doing, but when you look at the fact that they talk about Chief Financial Officer John Olin, who's been with Harley Davidson 17 years, has left the company. His duties are being assumed on an interim basis by Treasurer Daryl Thomas, the company said in a news release. 17 years as Chief Financial Officer. I mean, those are big changes.
Yeah, and I have to think that maybe it's going to be a positive thing for them. They don't say, not that I want anybody to lose their job, because that's always a very sad day. But if it can keep Harley Davidson, or if it can get Harley Davidson back on the right track, then hopefully that will be a good thing.
In all reality, I'm shocked it's only that many jobs. I mean, they've been making some horrible decisions recently. So, a lot of swapping in the big office parts there instead of the working area, and I think a lot of the decisions they made in the past 5 years have really brought them to this. So
this is great. This statement from Zeitz, however you say it, the rewire is progressing very well, and substantial work is being done to eliminate complexity and get Harley Davidson back on a path to winning.
Yeah.
So eliminating complexity, that's huge in and of itself. But we'll see.
Okay, so moving on. Next up in the news, the legendary Buffalo Chip, and this is coming into us from the Rapid City Journal. The Buffalo Chip announced Friday 10 acts in its concert lineup and festival poster for the 80th annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally that officially starts August 7th. Acts include 38 Special, who will headline August 13th, Night Ranger, Great White,
Adelita's Way,
Cherry,
Trapped.
here's the thing that we want to get to in the meat of this story. This quote right here from Rod Woodruff. This year will be a true old-fashioned motorcycle event, Buffalo Chip President and CEO Rod Woodruff said in the press release. We're taking it back to the early years with a focus on riding, bike shows, and riding concerts so everyone can have fun, safe, and truly unique experience for 2020. Now, the reason why this is important, and you hear us talk about this time and time again, is the fact that, this event for so many of us, this is really about that enduring pioneer spirit of the travel and the westward expansion that built our country and everything. And in these times, to still hold that rally and find a way to make it through, obviously, not some of the acts that you would expect to see, especially in an anniversary year like this, but they're doing the work. They're putting down the groundwork to make this an event. And we had even asked Rod when he was on the show not too long ago, what if we went the whole way back to 1986? Would it still be a rally? And there's the answer right there, man. They're switching gears, they're making it happen. My hat's off to him all day long.
And I have to agree, and at the end of the day, it is a motorcycle rally.
Right.
It started because of the motorcycle and the riding and the races, and I think a lot of people, that's what they're going back to, the venues out there, is they're making it about the motorcycle, and that's what it's supposed to be about. So, I don't think it's a terrible thing, Yeah, ZZ Top's great, but when I go to Sturgis, I really go to ride. I think in all the years I've been going to Sturgis, I can count on one hand the number of concerts I've actually been like, oh, I want to see that.
Well, keep in mind, we also can't take a breath normally while we're
True.
in Sturgis. But, in all reality.
Well, wait a
it
minute.
is
Come on. We're so lucky we get to go to Sturgis,
We
and
do.
it's
I mean,
awesome.
I mean, I do feel that, a lot of the stuff that we do from what we do, I mean, not like the majority of us don't work our asses off doing
Right.
it, but the benefits in all reality for us are huge. We do something a lot of people would love to do, but to drop the music back a little bit, I don't think it's going to affect it one bit. I think it's
No.
actually going to be pretty awesome. And they're all great bands. I mean, don't act like everybody's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
not
right.
these big headline bands. These are all great bands, so it's not like we're pulling in crappy bands.
Yeah, it's not like your sisters,
Yeah.
three of your sister's kids have a garage band together, and that's
Right.
what you're watching.
Well, you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right. I'm not speaking for all venues in Sturgis.
Not yet. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but like I said, man, hats off to them. This is not our pleasure to announce this. You guys may have heard this already, but the motorcycle Cannonball postponed to 2021. This came into us from the Cannonball folks themselves. Jason Sims, owner of the Motorcycle Cannonball, has announced that the historic transcontinental event scheduled for 17 days in September has been rescheduled due to the ongoing effects of COVID-19. The biennial event? That threw me for a loop. I almost fell out of my chair trying to read that one. Though held on U.S. soil, as an international lineup of riders from around the globe in 2020 race was to include as many as 120 riders on motorcycles manufactured before 1929, scheduled to depart Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan on September 10th and arrive in Grand Finale on September 27th, South Padre Island, Texas. Racers, staff, and the fans from around the world were excited to watch the cross-country ride unfold. Unfortunately, as more of this goes on, people start to question, what's it going to look like? What safety measures? And when you're talking about hundreds of people, because it's not just the couple hundred people that are going to be riding on this thing, it's the mechanics, the technicians, the support crew,
staff, yeah.
the fans that go
huge
along
staff.
with it. Yeah, I mean, so they really start to look, and I give it up to Jason because it had to be a hard decision.
Did
Oh,
Jason write
absolutely.
that article or that
Press release.
press release?
I don't know. I bet if he did, I got to go back
It's
and ask him.
Yeah,
biennial.
like, dude,
Biennial.
Biennial.
he's gonna have
No,
to
biennial.
He's gonna have to stop putting big words in.
So, well, and I think what did it for him in talking with them is, as the case count rises across, in certain parts of the country, they were talking to the hotels, their host hotels, saying they would give less than 24 hours notice for cancellations. Like they could
Yeah.
potentially shut the entire hotel down. And, again, as hard as it was, I'm sure it's for everybody's best interest.
Yeah, man, and I mean that's the kind of thing. You gotta remember in these times to give people a break and think about what everyone's up against. There's so much right now that's different than the normal course of our life throughout the day. You kind of got to be patient and let this stuff go down and see what we can get a
Yeah,
hold of.
I mean,
at the
like
end.
Robert Duffy, Laconia City Council's meeting again on Monday. They may cancel their postponed rally in August.
They're
and
re-canceling a lot of stuff right now.
and I hate to say it, I think maybe in the interest of, I hate to see any event cancel, especially Laconia, because that's my home event. But I think it may be in the best interest of the rally to do so and bring it back to its normally scheduled time next year and make it the best rally they've ever had.
Right.
So.
Yep. So yeah, Rob is mentioning on Wednesday night they're going to bring more Cannonball news. We're still doing the show Cannonball Chronicles every Wednesday, so make sure you check in for that. This is an especially hard story for me to cover. You might have seen this on social media this week. American Iron suspends publication. American Iron magazine, published since 1989, has suspended publication. The world has changed significantly. The motorcycle business has changed, and the magazine industry has too. Unfortunately, not for the better, short or long term. For the last 31 years, the American Iron team has worked hard, responding successfully to the trends, opportunities, and changes. But when their advertising crashed with the recent spread of the virus, they ran out of options. This is all from their website. This was the official report that they put out. 31 years.
Yeah,
This is
long time.
3 decades. And here's what I want you guys to consider, because the one thing I'll say right off the bat, I'm so proud of the motorcycle community, because I thought right off the bat that there was going to be haters coming out of the woodwork saying all the shit about print is dead and this and that and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there really wasn't. I mean, everyone just like gave such fantastic, heartfelt support to Buzz and his staff and talked about that 3 decades. I'm truly, truly proud of that for all of you guys.
Yeah, well, he's been a pinnacle in this industry for years. I mean,
Absolutely.
this was a go-to guy for
Yeah.
other publications, for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Chris, he was a mentor of yours for years, and you know, you guys were friends. And I hate to use the term competitors.
Well, and there,
But-
I mean, some competition, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is the thing that I'm going to say about it, and the biggest point that I want to make. There was only 2 moments, 2 fleeting moments in motorcycle history where we were socially acceptable, and it's starting to get to where we're kind of on the fringe again.
Yeah.
You know, and
Who? What do you mean as we?
the motorcycle
Industry
community.
itself, yeah.
You know what I mean? During those times, like during the times where it wasn't so popular, we weren't the norm, we weren't part of regular or polite society. Magazines like American Iron were our history books. They
Right.
were the only places that told our stories, kept track of our families, our accomplishments, the tough times, the good times. It was all that was those were our history books. So what we're actually losing in this is not just the entertainment of a magazine. We're losing the people who keep track of our
Yeah,
history.
the documentation and all reality.
That's
Yeah.
the hardest
Absolutely.
part of it.
I mean, I know you do have social media, but it's not at the level that.
But you know, like, I honestly think, like, someday, and this sounds crazy, and I know it's going to be crazy, but someday there is going to be that giant electrical pulse that wipes it all out, and you're not going to have those pages to turn. You're going to lose all that information, and it's so sad.
Well, and even if social media goes on for the rest of our lives, which it quite likely will, the thing is, social media only has, I mean, everything's still there. It's all still there. You can go look for it.
Yeah.
The chance that you actually will, I mean, not too long ago, Bob Kay gave me 2 cases of old literature,
Yeah, dude, that was awesome,
magazines,
too. I remember that.
you know, sales books, and we sat around like little
Oh,
kids
dude, and dug through that. Remember?
looking at some of that stuff that was, you know,
Yeah.
like I see Dave Nichols is on right now. Easy Riders, there was nothing more than I ever wanted to do in my life than be part of Easy Riders or have a bike in it or have a picture and like,
We did. Our wedding picture made it in Easy Risers. That was so badass.
and the reason for that was this was our family. This was our history book. That was our family photo album. You know, it was so much more. So, you know, when I think back to the fact that, like, you know, just to put this in perspective for you, let's go through a short list in the time that I've been on the national newsstands. We can talk about Easy Rider, Biker, V-Twin, In the Wind, American Iron Bagger, Garage Magazine, Ironworks Magazine,
Iron Horse.
The Horse.
Yep.
What am I
Hot Bike,
forgetting here?
Street
Hot
Chopper.
Bike, Street Chopper, Hot Bike Bagger, American Cycle,
Yeah, for a minute there was
American Bagger. Yeah, like all gone right now. You know what I mean? And these were friends and colleagues, but at the end of the day, they were the keepers of our history, man. And it's sad.
And you
It
look
is.
back, like we all kid around about all the different magazines. Every one of us had those Easy Rider posters hanging. Some of us still have them. I mean, that was what we leaned towards, the Easy
Oh,
Rider
my God.
rodeos, and everybody looked forward to that. And then, you know, for you to come up with this brilliant idea to do a magazine, you know, sucked us right into the middle of it, and then we became a part
Hey,
of it,
Mark, you know what I want to talk about, like in those traditions, because when we were young, reading the Red Rider cartoons and Easy Riders,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then eventually White Line Willie and Little Annie Tranny and all of that. Like, remember the day where we first met Mr. Thunder?
Oh my God, yeah.
And he started doing a cartoon for our magazine.
Yep.
I could have died on that day. Because I had one of the most iconic cartoonists that worked in the motorcycle publications actually make a cartoon for our magazine out of our characters, Low Down and Dirty Rotten.
And it's sort of funny because, like we said, we're looking back at like Buzz and Easy Rider and all these you know, In the Wind and magazines like that. And not only did we become a part of it, but they never lost their thrill. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like, in all reality, they were still the big one. We'll never get to that level. And And, and in all reality, we have, but still, you never feel like you'll compete with those original big guys. You know what I mean? Yep. And in all reality, look, you're the last one left.
Oh.
I mean, and as sad as it is to say, it's sort of fantastic. And to speak for a lot of the public, who's sort of glad it's in your hands, if you want my truthful opinion.
I don't know. That's a lot to live up to.
That's a pretty heavy load.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, look at it. In every one of these magazines, every one of these publications, you become friends with. And as they've been mentors, when there was an issue, they've always come back here also. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's one nice thing about this community. Nobody's ahead of anybody else. For some reason, everybody leans on each other. And to see somebody like Buzz postpone his magazine it's sad. It's watching a piece of ourselves go down.
I'll tell you, from all of us here at CycleSource, the people that are in studio with us right now, our writers around the country, our heart goes out to you. But yeah. I have to say, mad respect for him, because what he said both to me on the phone and in this press release is he would rather celebrate that 31 great years, knowing that what he did, he was proud of it from beginning to end. And doing something like that on your terms, I mean, Buzz is 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
I can hardly think that I will have the energy
good Lord,
to go at it like we are today in 15 years. So I appreciate him, and we send out our gratitude for those 31 great years. Hopefully in an upcoming show here, we're actually going to turn the show over to Buzz for a night and let him celebrate that 31 years. But anytime he's ready for that, because that was, like Heather said, he was a mentor.
It makes me want to cry just thinking about it. I mean, it does. It's a sad day. It really is.
Right on. Well, let's try to move off of that before one of us does break down. Here's some news that's kind of neat. Harley-Davidson electric motorcycle owner makes history with first U.S. border-to-border journey. Now, before you crazy kids get all nuts and think about the electric vehicle revolution is on, this ends up being a carefully planned trip. It was a Three Flags run, and that's for sure. They went from Mexico to Canada, but it was along the Green Highway, right? So we're going to talk about that. In the past few months, the world has found new ways to celebrate momentous life achievements. Riding motorcycles has been one such outlet, especially new motorcycles that are groundbreaking, like Harley-Davidson's first electric motorcycle Livewire. Diego Cardenas, a California resident, was hoping to spend June 30th, 2020 in Spain celebrating his 50th birthday. This spring, he knew he was going to need a new plan, but he wanted it to be something he was passionate about, a trip he could do that allowed him to maintain social distancing but also be memorable and unique. So he set out on a new plan, riding his Livewire motorcycle from the U.S.-Mexican border to the U.S.-Canadian border using the West Coast Green Highway, WCGH. The WCGH is a network of electric vehicle DC fast charging stations located every 25 to 50 miles along Interstate 5 and other major roadways in Washington, Oregon, and California. So it is, I mean, I'm not going to take away from the fact that this is a momentous thing. It's fantastic. His names are in the history book forever. It's along a specific route that they've set up to be the kind of pioneers of electric vehicle travel. So
I don't know how many times he had to stop and charge his bike.
What is the?
I don't know.
We should try to get a hold of him and have him on the show. That'd be great to ask him questions about it.
Yeah, I mean, in all reality, they tell you, oh, you'll get 500 miles out of a charge, and when it comes down.
And wouldn't you like to know, like when those bikes, after that battery runs for a while, like if you use a cordless drill, think about when you use your cordless drill. Yep. If you're on it, man, and you're running, as the battery is coming down, the heat that comes off of that thing, is that the same kind of thing with an electric bike used in this capacity? I don't know anyone that's ridden one
me neither.
enough to say that,
Well, one thing that I notice, and it's got to make a significant difference, he's got no gear on his bike. Like when we go out, if you and I were going to take that trip, our bike would be fully loaded with camping gear, sleeping bags, changes of clothes. It's him and the motorcycle. There's no gear bags. There's no backpacks. Yeah. So that's got to, I would imagine.
We're big sissies. That's why.
I would imagine that. I think he's got a chase vehicle. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's got a chase vehicle, but
Mike Draco says that I think the range is 150 mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that 150-ish miles, but then, like Chris said, in all reality, when you're running that thing and that, that battery gets hot or that electric motor gets hot, you lose that battery, mileage in all reality. And I'm just out of curiosity. I'd like to know how many times he had to charge, and I guess obviously you have to plan out. We think about coast to coast here and there that we've done. We left with $7 in our pocket and had no clue where the hell we were even going.
And ended up on the other side with $32.50 and a hell of a story.
Yeah,
I don't even want to know.
So listen, in the comments, Rob Nussbaum, did you use your cordless drill this week? Brother,
Yes.
like you don't even know. So the inside joke on that is we have begun to construct the center portion of our Sprinter van, the 30% in the middle, into a rolling studio. And by next week, I'll have pictures and stuff for you guys because it's nearly done. But we're literally, after Sturgis, we're not going home. We're going to be out on the road creating content with the stuff we're working with Fight TV and Chopper Town. And
Where are we going? Where are we going?
we're going everywhere.
west,
So
young
listen,
man.
if you see my number come up on your phone, it means I'm down the
Don't
road.
answer it.
I need a hot meal and I need some interesting shit to shoot with the cameras. So get ready.
Or run while you have the chance.
Right on. So
Yeah, I would opt for a run. Trust me, run. Don't answer it.
one more piece of news I want to go over with you guys for all these shows that we are doing, and like I said, we're super grateful for the audiences that we have for all of them. But one of the big questions all the time, and especially from some of our older fans, how can they watch it? Where can they watch it? A lot of people don't have Facebook. Heather has put this great Live Now button up on Cycle Source, and if you click on it, whatever is up on the screen, it takes a second to actually come up, but whatever we're broadcasting at the time, whether it's Shop Talk or Cannonball Chronicles, it goes right through our website. So you can go check that out, and if you want information on any of the shows, you can see across the top here, Bike Night Live is up there, Cyber Swap is up there, Shop Talk, Cannonball Chronicles, and we will have stuff from coast to coast up there this week.
Yeah,
So
and if you guys want to participate in any of those, if you got parts to sell, if you want to hang out with us on bike night, just click those buttons, fill out the little form, and we'll get you on. We're always looking for new participants.
right on.
Please.
So that's it. That's the news for tonight. We're going to take a 2-second break here and do some business for the show. I want to remind you one more time, this is Shop Talk every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live with everything that we can fit into this program. We appreciate you coming along for the ride on the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. And stick around. We're going to be back in just 2 and 2. Don't go anywhere.
Look, I don't have time to tell you everything Dennis Kirk has to offer. We have over 160,000 items in-house and in stock. Everything you need from snowmobile gear, ATV, UTV, and motorcycle gear, and dirt bike gear, and a whole lot more. Here at Dennis Kirk, we know time is important, and that's why we don't waste a second of it. Our shipping department's got your 6, and with same-day shipping, we know you're gonna be happy. Visit DennisKirk.com today.
Okay, we want to thank Dennis Kirk for all their support throughout the development of these shows, man. They've been great with us. And let me give you a little plug about that. If you're last minute all the time, ass on fire trying to get something done,
Like you?
there is nothing better. There is nothing better than having Dennis Kirk as your secret weapon, because they ship today. I've made orders with them up until like 8 o'clock at night, and it's going out that day. It's an incredible facility they have together. So check them out at Dennis Kirk online, and tell them that the folks over at ShopTalk sent you. So first guest up tonight is going to be Mr. Pat Patterson from Sled Customs, and that's near and dear to Mark's heart.
Does that mean you don't like him because you said Mark's heart? I'm just curious.
No, Mark and Pat go way back, and it's funny because when the two of them get together, it's always a good time.
He always gets me in trouble.
Yeah, right. I don't think you can blame it all on him though. I really don't.
No,
Really?
I think you
Really,
can.
Chris?
Actually.
What, have you been talking to
Have
Jen?
you met Pat Patterson? Come on now.
All right. Well, listen, Pat's got a great show coming up in Sturgis, so we're going to bring him on and talk about that a little bit. Pat, are you here with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I heard everything you just said.
Tell Jen I'm sorry.
And I might have to agree with Heather a little bit on that one.
Oh, what are you turning over a new leaf? You taking the heat?
Well, I know who the boss is.
Right.
Uh-oh.
See, that's because he has a business where he works with his wife too.
Suckers.
Yeah. I'm just trying to help Chris out a little bit.
Pat is smarter than we all thought. Come on now.
Boy. No, he's not.
See, that's
Don't
you
try.
you take things too far.
Hey, let's
you're
let
not
the
you're not from
go away here.
You're not from Pittsburgh. You can't do that shit. You don't got the timing down. So Sportster Showdown. Sturgis is coming like a runaway train. We're all trying to get ready. Tell them about Sportster Showdown.
Is that Mark over there with like the little train sounds and stuff?
Yeah, they won't show me doing it. Though. I'm the sound guy. I have like this little.
You're the dude in Seabiscuit.
Yeah, I have all these gadgets.
He actually has a little whistle over there. I can't put him on screen blowing it because it's kind of.
He doesn't have. He just blows in between those two teeth right there.
Two. I'm down to one now. I'm on a roll.
That's got to be a good whistle.
You know how hard it is to whistle with one tooth?
It's a job.
Come on.
Or peel an apple.
Or eat peanuts.
Oh, this is going
All
in
right,
the
Sportster
toilet.
Showdown. Tell us about it, Pat.
See, you can't put us in the same room together. It doesn't work.
You're not even in the same
Okay,
room.
but the fact that I'm
Pretty
relying on
excited.
Pat Patterson to reel this in is scary.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, we're pretty excited this year. It's the 5th year for the Sportster Showdown, which my Instagram post, I actually messed up the years. And then last night I was talking to Jen. I'm like, you know what? I think this is the 5th year that we've done the Sportster Showdown. So I put it all together in my head. Yeah, I was wrong. But anyways, this year's the 5th year. It's going to be a pretty interesting year with everything going on, this year in Sturgis and in the world. So we'll see how it plays out. But we wanted to keep the show going and not hold it off a year. So, we're still looking to have a good time out there.
Yeah, right on. And I think that's a big message that we're trying to get across here. I mean, you've been when was your first Sturgis even? You're a tried and true Sturgis veteran.
Yeah, this year's my 21st year in a row to Sturgis.
Damn.
Yeah, and I never would have thought that my first 2 or 3 years going to Sturgis. It wasn't like I really set out to do that. And now it's like, well, wow, it's my 21st year going to Sturgis.
But when the questions come up and and everything's looming over top of whether or not there will be a Sturgis, what goes through your head at that point?
Just like there's going to be a Sturgis.
Oh,
He's a man of many words.
Do you see how he played the drama? He let that hang there for a minute, and he just. That's a sign. That's a sign of a true professional, man. He knows when to bring it home.
Yeah,
man.
right.
Well, yeah. You can sit and think of how will it be, and it's probably going to be a little different, and I'm sure there's going to be some changes. But as in the whole, with just the group of people that come to Sturgis, how Sturgis even started, how long it's been around. It's like it would take a whole lot to just, I feel like just shut that whole thing down to where it's like, hey, we're not having it this year.
Yeah, it's been a part of our lives for a lot of years. So
Yeah.
it'd be hard to stop it.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think, Chris, kind of like how you feel, I mean, you're going to make it what it's going to be.
Right.
Sturgis will be whatever you make it.
That's it.
And Pat, like we pick on you and we bust on you, but you always have a good time and you make these events fun for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that way whether there's 10 people there or 100 people there. It's going to be a good time. People are going to leave saying, I had a blast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what more could you ask for?
Well, and that's always been our motto. I mean, back with, I feel like Cycle Source is the same way, you know, back when we were with Lint Nicky Lot and everything we always did.
Brought the circus.
That was just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if there was a bunch of people. It didn't matter if there was a big crowd. We were going to have a good time no matter what. And, you know, we just still kind of carry that on. And we're going to have fun that day and see what happens.
I think generally that was the draw. When people knew we were going to be somewhere, you know, they came just to see what the circus was going to do.
Oh,
you know,
God.
so and we made everybody be a part of that with us, and I think that's what brought more people into it. And that's also, in all reality, what I think, you know, helps a bit of your Sportster Showdown. On top of the fact that, you know, I hate to ever give you props ever. You know how that goes. But I mean, you've actually, you know, mastered the Sportster stuff. You bring it home, no questions asked, and people respect that. So to come and see what people put on the table in front of you has become an annual thing, and that's pretty awesome. From somebody who's known you from how far back and as close as we are, it's great to see you get the props that you deserve over the long run. So,
well, I really appreciate that. And, you know, it's exciting for me also because, you know, I bring a handful of bikes out just to showcase some of our work, but I love seeing what all of these guys are, you know, there's professional builders that show up with out of this world creation. There's garage builders that show up with these out of the world creations. There's just so many people that portray Sportsters in so many different avenues. It's such a versatile bike. It's so fun to see what everybody shows up with. I mean, you'll have a tracker, you'll have a straight up dirt bike Sportster, drag Sportster, cafe Sportster, bobber, chopper, bags all over.
He said chopper.
you know, that's got to make you feel good because in all reality, if you look, you actually have a show that, you know, your product is the headline for. So, you know, in all reality, that's gotta make you actually feel good about it.
If I can butt in there for a minute too, what you started in the beginning to talk about what Pat's done with the Sportster over the years, it's not even just about his product, right? Because it's about that movement. You know, many years ago when we were all young men with not as much gray in our beards, Pat set out to make the Sportster cool. You know, at the time, Sportsters really took a bad knock, and he set out to build an entire company around glorifying that base model and all the things that you could do with it. And I mean, the fact that now, you know, with all your success, you've brought that to the major national rally and brought people together to celebrate the Sportster.
And that's all I rode back then too. I mean, every bike I had was a Sportster, so I had mad
well
props for him.
When I started Lead Sled, you know, in the 90s, I had a 93 Sportster that I bought pretty much brand new. There was never anything I could buy besides a chrome doodad or something to put on it.
Eagle Spirit.
And
Eagle Spirit.
When I started my shop, it's like I kind of just started building stuff that I wanted, and you know, just building stuff that I liked, you know. And back then, a guy asked me, "Was I just going to do Sportsters?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." Because that's really all I know. You know, that's all I've messed with. I'm not going to sit here and try to start a shop with other motors and stuff that I don't know anything about. Plus, that's not really what's in my heart, you know. Working on Sportsters and trying to do things with them of what I want was what I wanted to do. And he pretty much left my shop and told me good luck.
Well, they're so versatile,
and I
like
kind
you
of felt
said.
the same. I'm like, well, I don't know.
I know. You know, I'll tell you what's funny about that though. Way early on, when I had known Pat's brother Jeff a little bit better. I mean, Pat would come once a year to our show in Pittsburgh, and it was always it was crazy times even back then. But his brother Jeff, I would see at different bike nights and stuff, and Pat, we had Pat's bike, the Impaler, on a cover one month, and this story sticks out in my head so much because it's when I knew what a great guy his brother Jeff is. We were at a bike night, a great big bike night in Pittsburgh, and I was so proud to have Pat's Impaler on the cover because it was mean and different. Yeah. Like nobody was doing shit like that, and I just thought so much of it. And Pat specifically built that bike to piss people off, and I was just like, at the time, I'm thinking, well, how could you think that this bike is going to piss people up? A guy came up to me and verbally assaulted me at a bike night for having that bike on my cover, and dude, I was in awe. I was lost for words as he walked away after haranguing me, and I was just going, you know what? And his brother Jeff grabbed me and said, "Dude, just let him go." And I was going to go chew that guy's ass off.
It proved its point. Yeah. Well, I can tell you solely from loading that bike multiple times and moving it multiple times, every time you look at it, you bleed. So, I mean,
yeah. Well, I built that bike. When I built that bike in, I think it was probably like 2000, I think. And, you know, that was back, everything was bling, everything was polished, everything was chrome. I know because I owned one of those bikes. And when I built the Impaler, I was just like, I want to go against everything everybody's doing. When this goes to Easy Rider, I want people to be pissed off that they're even looking at it.
Right.
So I was like, I didn't even know what color olive drab was. I just called the paint store. I'm like, hey, you know these Army Jeeps that drive around here that look like baby crap? I want that color. And then, you know, I was like, everything on this bike that people chrome, we're going to powder coat black. Because on my Sportster that I had before that was all polished in chrome, I took the exhaust off of it one night for some reason, and I painted it flat black. And it was the only thing flat black on that bike, and everybody hated it. And I was like, every time I looked at it, I'm like, I think that looks pretty badass.
Yeah, right.
And everybody hated it. So I was like, the Impaler's job was just to make everybody hate it. And
light on fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when Chris told me the story about that dude like coming up and verbally assaulting him at the bike night, I was like, that dude gets it.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
good. Like, that's what it was supposed to do. You weren't supposed to be like, oh, that's really cool. Like, I was just trying to piss all those dudes off that like polished, clean stuff.
And I think at one point we had to put tennis balls on some of the points because people bled so many times. Yeah. I don't remember where we were at, but a girl walked by and sliced her leg open, and we were like, yeah, it's we need tennis balls.
Yeah, the smoke out one time I came back, and there was actual blood on the swing arm from somebody just got poked real good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now it's around the house and I have kids and I'm like, stay away from that bike. I got towels wrapped around it. I'm like, you can't go near that bike.
Yeah, I can think of a couple years loading that thing to go to Daytona. It was raining and I bled like a stuck pig strapping that thing down.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I probably could have like rounded the points off just a little bit, but I don't know. That wasn't my mentality with that bike.
No, and I'll tell you, in all reality, that bike is a statement in itself.
Oh, so. It is. It is. You know? I think when I think about generational influence, you know, because when we came into this, and it's hard to believe that we're all in the neighborhood of turning 50 now, but when we came into this, you know, we were the next generation. Yeah. Like, we used to make a big deal about the fact that we were the new generation in this. But when I think about the generational influence that we've had, you know, a lot of us have built really cool throwback bikes. You know, like me and Mark do the 70s chopper thing, and I've seen some of the guys that came through the Limp Nicky Lot machine that were, you know, killing it with bobbers, yeah. And they were all, you know, like classically styled. But that motorcycle, and I'll even say the same for Whiskey Bent from U2, was really like that was kind of a statement of our generation. Those were truly unique motorcycles that stood up for the differences in our generation.
And with Pat, you can go, you can go from one extreme to another because you have the Impaler, which obviously was made to kill people. Whiskey Bent, which is obviously to feed our alcohol problem. And then Mercury Bike, which was to prove a point that his versatility was in every direction. So, I mean, it wasn't like there was one specific build that came from Pat, or even from us. But we all had our specific, our typical bike we built. But
Okay, so let's move on, because I don't think you can afford to keep Mark going on at the rates he's going to be charging you for all this shit.
Can you?
I know, right? I'm blushing. He's never said this many nice things about me ever.
We're live. I'm going to be calling you in about 40 minutes, and you're getting it.
Wait till you get that
I'm
bill.
Can you?
You're
Can
gonna let
you?
me have it.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
this year at the Sportster Showdown, we're really excited. We have about 10 sponsors. We have Metzler, Builtwell, Chalk Call, Lowbrow, Cycle Source, of course. Hard Drive has jumped on this year. S&S, Cena, JP, obviously Buffalo Chip, and we're doing it at Camp Zero. And Go Fast, Don't Die is going to be there.
All right on.
Doing shenanigans, during the show. We're going to have some bands during the show this year. This year, I'm going to try to get the Go Fast, Don't Die guys riled up a little bit more during the show, and just, I don't know, see if we can jump a van on a mini bike or something, and just kind of get some entertainment stuff
Are
going.
you going to jump the van on the mini bike?
I don't know if I'll be drinking that much that day, but
like
there's
that'll
always a
matter.
possibility. You never know. I don't know. Damon out there has been, I think he's kind of the new Camp Zero stuntman now.
Dude.
Right on. So that show is Tuesday, August 11th. It starts at 2 at Camp Zero. Be there with your
Yep.
Sportster.
Yep. And Paul from Bare Knuckle Choppers is going to be out there this year with us, hanging out, set up. Mike from Chop Machines is going to be out there setting up with some of their bikes. So really excited to have those guys coming and hanging out with us during the day. And, earlier on that week, we'll be at Joe's show, the FXR show, and Jeff's V-Twin Visionary show, to kind of help support. And
How
hang
about
out
the
with those
Cycle
guys.
Source show on Sunday?
Yes, Cycle Source show on Sunday also.
Damn.
I made it there last year.
I know you did. I know
Just
you
had to
did.
remind you, Pat.
No,
Yeah.
One of the things that we want to talk about when it comes to Sportster Showdown is, just like you've done, you set a different tone with the bikes that you build. You've even done it with this event, because in all the hoopla and melee that goes on in Sturgis, you've managed to create a backyard kind of just hanging out. Like guys just pull into this little part of Buffalo Chip, and it's sort of like they're there for the Sportster Showdown. You know what I mean?
It's its own little world.
Its
from
own,
Buffalo
yeah,
Chip.
it is. Yeah. It is. It's a really great, unique event inside of
Not in
all
the
that
hoopla.
chaos.
You don't have to go through all the
Well,
crap to get
we
there.
did move it out to Camp Zero this year
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we were kind of outgrowing that spot, but it still has the same vibe out there. I'm trying to just keep it from being in just a hot parking lot, standing around looking at bikes, which those shows are awesome. Yours is actually in a bar. That's really cool. Just trying to do something a little different. This kind of a hangout gathering.
Well, you do
Just
realize
a
he
fun
put
day
it.
to be
He
at,
put it in a bar so you'd come.
I
Do
did.
what?
He put it in a bar so you'd come.
Yeah, that's why I came last year.
But it backfires on me when it's him and Pat Jansen together.
Oh boy.
Yeah, never good.
Oh, really? We're gonna bring that up again?
So listen.
I'm just gonna have to give you $200 to squish that whole story.
No, man, I own that story now. It's worth $400 to me. I'll do it for you guys again, just so I can tell the story. So listen, we have a question in from social media. Rob Nussbaum is asking, why the Yamaha paint job? What's the story?
Well, man, I grew up riding dirt bikes, obviously, and I just raced yesterday. I don't know if a lot of people know about my addiction to dirt bikes and racing. And if you look at, the Discovery Channel bike, we've done some bikes that have the race ready on them, which is like, KTM uses that. We thought for a while there, some of the bikes we do kind of racy, and, especially with that bike, the yellow one there, I just like that kind of retro dirt bike theme. And honestly, I hate yellow. So, and I've never liked the yellow bike. So I was like, well, hey, let's do this one yellow. Dirt bikes are cool, right? So we just did it, and that turned out great. And that's kind of just me liking dirt bikes and old dirt bike themes is kind of why we did that.
And what's the series that you race?
I race IXCRs, which is Indiana cross country. I do some races that's my main series I do. My son races now, so that's more kind of family oriented. We can go and both of us race. And then I split off and go do some enduro races and stuff like that. I race a series Aces.
Well, it seems you, Truck, and Gary Thomas have taken over the world there when it comes to winning races, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've been doing pretty good. Gary took a spill in Nepal this year when we were over there riding, so he had to have shoulder surgery, so he hasn't really raced much this year yet. I mean, I had a 2 week break.
We got to get him training wheels or something.
He actually got hit by another rider, so it wasn't his.
We're gonna blame it on him anyway, but
yeah. I mean, I've raced the last 5 weekends, and then I had 1 weekend off, and then we just raced again yesterday. So I've definitely got way more miles on a dirt bike than I do a street bike at this point.
Right on. Well, listen, man, we can't wait to get with you at the showdown and everything else that's going on in Sturgis. We have a ton of stuff to do with you in Sturgis. You know, we're going to be out there doing the Sturgis Live thing, and we're gonna dominate a certain amount of your time if I can keep you apart from Mark.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm really excited that you guys are doing that. That sounds really cool, and I'm really excited to meet up with you guys and be a part of that. I think that's going to be something really neat.
This actually means we're gonna get to spend time together, because normally the only time we get to spend together is when I come to the Sportster Showdown. So,
right.
Well, or if I run up there and hang out at this Cycle Store show, but then you're usually doing something like sweeping the floors and stuff. I don't know.
Hey, I'm a master of the custodial
You're
arts.
over there handing out mints when the people leave the bathroom.
I'm a master at the custodial arts. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful, Pat.
You guys are killing me. All right, man. Listen, we're going to cut you loose, but thanks for coming on tonight. Tell everybody where they can keep up to date on everything that's going on with Lead, Sled, and Sturgis, including the Sportster Showdown.
You can follow us on Instagram, Lead Sled Customs, or Facebook. I know Camp Zero has a lot of stuff on their Facebook. I think even Cycle Source does, the Buffalo Chip website. So it's out there pretty good. I know Builtwell and Lowbrow is going to throw some stuff up for us. So I think by next week, hopefully everybody's seen that it's going to be out there.
Right on, man. Well, dude, thanks again. Tell Jen we said thanks for letting us take part of the night. And we'll see you in Sturgis, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, man. So, Blondie, while I get the next guest ready, how about giving us a little social media report?
Let's see. We have Larry and Karen Moore in the house, who just reported that, unfortunately, they're not going to be in Sturgis, which is such a bummer. Jonathan LeBlanc is here, and Roger Ufta and Rob Nussbaum are having quite a little chat going on. Gus is here, and he digs the yellow race bars from the 70s.
Gus in the house.
Gus. Let's see, who else? Oh, they have like this whole big conversation. Danger Dan is in the house. Danger Dan. Can't wait to see him. Ron
He better
Major.
be in Sturgis.
He is. He said, see all you MFers in Sturgis. Well, he didn't actually say MFer.
Bring an extra pair of pants.
Ron Major from Minot, North Dakota is here. Poppy's in the house. Troy Phillips is here.
That officially makes Poppy like an all day supporter. He's been on since this morning with Cyberswap, man.
Poppy's awesome.
Yes, he is.
Right on, man. Well, listen, real quick, I want to remind you guys, we're coming to you live like we do every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, 50 floors below the street level with ShopTalk, 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. Our next guest is one of my heroes from forever, because not only did he set more land speed records than I think anyone that walked out on the Salt in Bonneville, but he was the man that taught all of us.
He believed in us.
That every rally, he did believe in us too, which was that the end of that story didn't go well, but he taught us.
And he still believes in us.
He taught us that every rally there will only be one of this year's Sturgis rally, and that's one of the main reasons I want to have him on. He's always been keen to keep an eye on the experience over the quantity, over anything. He always made sure he delivered that experience. Help me in welcoming Mr. Jay Allen.
Hey,
We love Jay
it's good to
Allen.
be here. Good to see you guys.
You too, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm out in California. wearing my mask where I go, but when I'm not inside someplace, I'm on a motorcycle without it, riding. I'm kind of like the lone wolf, but life is good considering we're having a pandemic.
Yeah.
Now, when I talked to you today in pre-show, man, you were telling me about some really, really incredible riding, like just this week you've been doing.
You know, Chris, it makes me sick. I was up in Northern Cal. I didn't see Ray. I didn't see Aaron Green because I didn't want to create any uncomfortableness with what's going on up there. And they seem to be very, very sensitive about the COVID-19. So, yeah, I just did my thing. I rode like a madman. 100 degree in the inland. It's 58 degrees on the coast, and just magical. The rivers, the great vineyards, and the redwoods. It was good, man. It's good. So I'm heading back to Arizona, getting ready for Bonneville.
Well, how about the Lost Coast?
Yeah.
Did you get any time there? That was one of my favorite times when we went up the PCH, man. Got the whole way up to the Lost Coast and experienced that the first time.
No, I didn't. Not on this trip. I did not.
So Jay, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on tonight, you know, there's so much up in the air about Sturgis, and I thought, who would be better to give us some insight on the ups and downs of Sturgis than you? With you know, I think you said that your first Sturgis was 1986. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. 1986. And I never missed one rally for 30 years consecutively.
Wow. So
yeah.
in that 30 years, tell us a little bit about the timeline of Sturgis. Like, for a lot of guys don't even have the time that, like, Mark and I and Pat that we were just on with, the time that we've been at Sturgis. But take us back to 1986 and tell us about Sturgis 1986.
Dude, you remember John Parham, JP Cycles. I set up at Mr. Al's swap meet with a 10 by 20 booth. We sold sheepskins, knives, and deerskin gloves. And right across me was this young man with curly hair selling bike parts named John Parham.
Okay.
And to see guys like Arlen Ness come cruising into town, and Arlen Fatland and all the legends, you know, I mean, everybody made it to the Mecca run, and that was Sturgis. And trust me, I was doing a lot of events, but there's only one Sturgis.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that was, like I said, when we were bringing you on, that was one of the big takeaways in all of our time with you, was to keep an eye on the fact that this is only going to happen once. Whatever it is, when we get to Sturgis this year, whatever we find, whatever we make of it, that is going to go down in the history books as the 80th anniversary of Sturgis.
And if you weren't there, you didn't witness it. That's the bottom line. And this is a very unique year. I am heartbroken, you guys, because for the first time in all the years I've been land speed racing, Sturgis and Bonneville overlap right on top of each other. And we're so focused on going out there and being one of the world's fastest Harley Davidsons, we can't throw in the towel on it. But I planned on doing the 80th. And, you know, Sturgis comes in 5-year increments. After the 75th, I was at the 50th. And then everyone talked, man, wait till the 75th. But every 5th year is an increment that you have that really bigger rally that everyone's going to make it to that one. And this is it. This is the 80th. And with this COVID, nobody knows what's going to happen. But I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for Bonneville, I don't care what the situation is, I would be there. I would not miss it. And I recommend to everybody out there, it will work out. Just trust me. Load your bike down, load your bike up, whatever you got to do to get there. And you reach out to me, I guarantee I'll kiss your ass and give you an hour to get a crowd if you regret going to the 80th. I mean it. Don't miss it.
So listen, going back to 1986, because that's one of the big things, is everybody saying, well, you know, some of the bigger music acts are cutting down. You know, they're worried about how the social distancing is going to go. The city has cut back on some of the events, and people are literally worried about, you know, who's actually going to be there. But let's go back to, I want you to compare for people that don't have the benefit of the history that you do, and tell us about the size of the crowds and the size of the entertainment and everything in 1986.
Well, you know, it was pretty impressive. I got to give Rod credit up to Buffalo. He was booking some pretty big acts, and I was booking little big acts. And when the throttle came along, they were booking some pretty decent acts. But it was intimate. It was more intimate. And I have a sense that's what I'm predicting this year. The 80th is one you don't want to miss because it's not going to be what it was because of this virus, but I think it's going to be unforgettable. And it's got all the makings of everything you want from the amazing bikers. Where can you go and just see knuckleheads and flatheads and panheads? They're going to be there. They're going to be all over Sturgis, as well as the riding. And I got to assume you guys are somebody's going out to that ranch and going up Van Ocker Canyon. And with all that stuff going on, we didn't have that much going on in 1986. So in some ways, I got to tell you, it's really improved because people like myself, when I was with the Broken Spoke, and I know Woody and Michael out the throttle, we have to try harder and harder every year. And what can we do to service these bikers? And what can we show them to blow them away? And who can we associate with that can entertain them and help bring them into the culture, or keep it alive? And that's the better part of Sturgis today than it was yesteryear. Even though then we didn't know what we were missing. It was just a great time.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things we're doing for Sturgis this year, Jay, I don't know if we had a chance to talk about this or not, but one of the things that we're doing is a new production for us called Sturgis Live, and we're literally going to have 180 minutes that comes out only 3 days after Sturgis is over. So a lot of filming, every day filming. Every day we're going to have stuff shipped off to our editor, and we're going to bring this whole thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever goes on. We're going to do a lot of the history of the different towns. But what we're finding, because as you can imagine, to do a program like this, you have to put in the time and you have to write it like a treatment, and you have to set out what your assertions are going to be and how you're going to go at it. And the biggest thing that we're saying right off the bat is that this region has only had the benefit of motorcycle history for 80 years, but for hundreds of years, it's been born and bred and built from the enduring pioneer spirit. And that was people that were willing to say goodbye to their families, their way of life, towns that they knew, and head off into a great void for the chance at something more out of life. And I think at the beginning, that may be what drew us to Sturgis to begin with, as in its infancy.
Chris, I think you nailed it. That is what it is. If you just drive away from your house and you head for somewhere like that, it brings that out. It really does. It's deeper than we even know, and it touches us in a very profound way. Yeah.
And I think back myself to like my first couple trips to Sturgis, and it really was a pilgrimage. And I'm not going to bullshit anybody. We have all the modern conveniences. I have a credit card in my pocket that if the shit really hits the fan, I can get help wherever I'm at. And it's but in the back of your mind, like what my favorite part always was that last 200 miles, and it seemed like that was at the end of 1,000-mile day for me. And you're going through the zombie highway is what I used to call it, because every rest stop for that last 200 miles is guys that are just like wide-eyed, and they're just sitting there going, God, give me the strength to just make this last 50 miles to the next rest stop, and I need to roll into town tonight.
Hey, well, you actually said that you have the credit card in your pocket now and this and that. Keep in mind the first how many years we didn't. We literally ran that by the skin of our teeth. I'm more saying that, like, we have modern conveniences today that, like, if you think about the guys that were going out there, in the original Jack Pine Gypsy days, they didn't have the safety nets like we do, but there still exists that nugget of that pioneer spirit of that. Imagine the first people that ever crossing the United States ran into the edge of the deadline of the Badlands, and stood there. Man. How did they muster up the courage to even take another mile? It was ridiculous, right? But I think that's where a lot of the spirit of this event. That's why it's become so.
What I mean to think about you guys. Hey, think about the first Sturgis. I interviewed Pearl Hoyle when she was 90 plus. I think she was 99, but there were racers that came to race, Harley and Indian, and they didn't even have enough money to get home. They came with the hopes and the premise that they would place and win enough money racing that it would give them the gas money to get home. And ironically, not everybody's a winner. So Sturgis was stuck with a bunch of racers with tents in their yard. They were constantly donating food, trying to keep these guys fed. And finally, they realized we got to get these guys some money and get them the hell out of here. We can't beat them forever. But that's the love, and that's the drive to go out there. And I don't know anybody at any level financially, whether you were literally just getting there with pennies or asking for money at a gas station or you're packing money. Like you said, Chris, for you to hit Wall Drug, you had a Woody, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you were close.
Yeah, buddy. And man, it's so bittersweet. It's so bittersweet because I also think about how great it would be to have a Sturgis. I actually like the year before the fives so much because I like when the pace of the rally comes down. I like when it becomes a little more intimate and you get to zoom through town a little bit better instead of having to take the fire roads to get around things to get the stuff. Like, I enjoy that. At the same time, I can't imagine our culture existing without this annual pilgrimage.
Yeah. And I never thought of it.
It would be heartbreaking that it did.
My first.
I recommend to everybody out there, and we all have an opinion on this COVID-19, and I'm just sharing my opinion, but the secret is by keeping a strong immune system. I mean, if you look at all the numbers and everything, if you're a healthy person and you're under the age of 70, and if you're 70, I'm 66, and I've been around two people I know that had it. I even helped take care of them, and I've had no symptoms whatsoever. They're healed, they're fine. But if you don't have COPD, if you don't have any lung issues, you're not diabetic, you're not vulnerable. Get out there and mix with people and build your immune system and live. And that's what I've been doing. I wear a mask everywhere when I go in places. I don't want to subjugate myself to somebody else, but I'm living and I'm healthy as a horse, and I'm not laying it on anybody else. But man, you can get on your motorcycle and ride, and I would not miss the Sturgis 80th. You will not regret it. And if you're healthy, you're going to go home healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, so many things, and I mean when it comes to the things that are important to you, I remember all the years, like, as soon as you were done with Sturgis, you were packing up and heading out to Bonneville, and this year Bonneville Bubs becomes another one of our casualties of COVID, man, and we don't get to gather there for that this year.
That's a heartbreaker. That's a real sad one.
Really is. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome that official Speed Week is still going on. I didn't even know that until I was talking to you today. So big things going on.
Yeah, and I'm bummed. This was going to be. I was going to go to Bonneville. This would have been my first.
Look, sir.
Oh, I
think we lost him.
I think he's gone.
And listen, it
routes that can. I take my hand to Sturgis. I really do. I give Sturgis credit for that.
Yeah. And
check 1 2. Hey.
No, you're there, man. You're there. We just got
okay.
A little bad connection for a second. You gotta put yourself in the shoes of the government officials there in Sturgis and stuff too, because boy, they're really in the middle of a rock and a hard place, because we can all sit outside of the city, the other 11 and a half months of the year and bitch about what they're going to do, what they're not going to do, but that they're living in their friends and neighbors and their concerns, and
I totally get it, and I respect that, and it's my hope and my prayers that it turns out that they made the right decision and it works out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay,
right.
What are your goals for Bonneville this year? Tell us what you're working on and what you're looking to do. Is this all still under the One Feather Racing flag? Yeah,
we're still under One Feather Racing, and this is a big year for us. We took our bike that did 232.785. We put a Ralph Hudson body on it, and that body in Bolivia went over 300 miles an hour with Ralph's Suzuki motor. So it's much more slippery. We put a Garrett 660 turbo in it. We're really hoping to get somewhere in the neighborhood with a body bike of between 250 and 265.
Wow.
And my lips are moving. But if the salt's hard, I think it's possible. And the body off bike, poor man's turbo, we're looking somewhere between 200 and 215 on that. And we're going out with a Triumph triple. My buddy Dustin, the genius, the millennial maniac, he's taking a Triumph Rocket 3 out there, and we're going to do some big things with that, we hope.
Right on. So listen, we have a question in from social media, and this is from Sasha's Cycles of Sturgis. Is that a Jody Weiss drawing on your bandana?
Jody Weiss drawing?
Yeah, that's
no,
what.
No, it is. No, it is not. But Jody Weiss is he's become one of the top artists in Sturgis, and he was my bar manager for 6 years. I love that man. But no, this was the original founder of the Broken Spoke. David Iverson did this, and it's the 1946 knucklehead, and it is the original logo from the Broken Spoke that started in 1987.
Right on. Well, buddy, I'll tell you what, like we just the other day, I don't know how much you keep up on Cycle Source social media, but we do this thing called Fast Bike Fridays. And Fast Bike Fridays was your little red Chief that we featured forever ago, and that was the fast bike for Friday. And man, like it just brought so many memories back of you, like the original gunfighter out at Bonneville, man, with those, you used to wear those fringe gloves, and like you were such a badass on that thing. And that, you know, Samantha and everything, that whole year was so magical. But that bike will forever be in my personal history book, you know.
Hey, Chris, reading the articles all the years that you covered me at Bonneville, I'll lay in my chair. I got a big red leather chair, and I'll read them, and it just makes the hair stand up on my arms. And I can't thank you enough for all that you guys do, for covering Bonneville, for the things you covered about me, so that my daughter can look at it when I'm gone and say, this is my dad, and this is what he did.
Right on.
And what you're doing with Sturgis, the fact that you're documenting this. I didn't know that you were doing that, but kudos to you guys, man, because really you're the historians of this event, and you should be proud of that. And looking back on it, that's going to be huge.
Well, you know, Jay, we were just earlier in the program, we were talking about the sad news that came across this week about American Iron Magazine, and that Buzz has decided to.
What breaks my heart, Buzz.
Yeah, me too, man. And like we said, the fact that, you know, what we don't realize when we throw out casual terms like print is dead, or, you know, this or that, or what takes the place, we don't understand that for so many years, while motorcycles weren't the mainstream media darling, these were our history books. Like still to this day, I go through the archives of old magazines, and that's where I originally learned the history of who we are. And I somewhat have to wonder how the next generation is going to learn that history.
Well, man, I tell you, Buzz is so knowledgeable that I can see you getting on the phone to him and saying, "Hey, Buzz, I'm looking at this bike. I got to send you a picture. Tell me about it." And I'll tell you another thing. I can't help but feel that Buzz has a comfort level knowing that the baton's been passed on to Cycle Source, that you're out there. And I think it made his decision easier knowing that the culture's still represented. I really believe that.
Well. No, and you know he has said as much to me, and it's a great honor. But yeah. I can never see myself in that position. Like we scramble to try to live up to that, because Mark and I talk about this all the time. We were just motorcycle guys doing this stuff, and accidentally ended up in this position. And the only reason we stay here is we work our asses off. Is a complete honor to be among all of you guys,
and to be believed in. That's what I said before. Whenever you were on, like, you believed in us. When Limp Nicky came, most people would have thrown us out on our ears, and you let us do our shenanigans, and it made us all who we are. People like Buzz, who supported Chris when he had a problem, and
you were young kids with potential. I saw the potential.
John Green.
Yeah,
people that just went out of their way to help us, and kudos to you for seeing that potential in us morons at that point. But it's an honor. It's an honor to be backing up. Well, for Chris, I don't do as much of this as he does. Please don't ever act like I even stand in the shoes he does. But to be a part of it is definitely an honor.
We all do. But J. Allen, I got to tell you here in front of God and everyone, if you ever wondered, if your words were always falling on deaf ears, part of the thing that we go out to do all the time is because of the stuff you taught us.
Right.
You know, that
I'm honored. Thank
you owe people that experience. We've been going to Sturgis now for 20 years.
Yeah.
Someone that's coming this year for the 80th, and I know one of them we just saw on the screen here, Gus. It's going to be his first year. I am going to bust my ass to make sure that every Gus that ends up there this year has a hell of a time, you know, and that's what you taught us, man.
Oh, they will. It's going to happen.
Right on. Well, listen, where can people keep up with One Feather Racing and the records that you're surely going to smash?
Don't say that, because I'm so superstitious about that. I my lips are moving, but I haven't done jack you know what yet. But no, I'll be go to my Facebook page, because every day, whether it's good or bad, I'm gonna tell what's going on. I'll do a stand up and tell everyone what's happening. Not only with me, but we got guys like Ralph Hudson and Al Lamb going head to head to be the world's first 300-mile sit-down motorcycles.
How about it?
And there's just a lot of characters out there, and so I'll be letting you guys and everybody know about some, not just us, not just One Feather, but a lot of the stories that are going on out there, because it's exciting. I'm just bummed I'm not going to be at the 80th, because that's one I did not want to miss.
Well, when I said that thing about the records that you'll surely smash, I have to give it up between you and Draco. Like, man, you guys you've moved that class to a whole nother level. Like, you've just, and unfortunately, I built a motorcycle because I'm a dumbass that ends up in that class. And like, people say, well, you're going to go after a record. I'm like, are you kidding me? Never in this lifetime. I know the two guys that own that class. It's never going to happen.
Chris, I don't know how you do it. You build the bike, you do the artwork. Meanwhile, you're working on a magazine publication that goes out every 30 days. Now you're doing ShopTalk. Now you tell me you're going to chronicle the Sturgis 80th. I mean, you guys must be on meth or something. I don't know. I'm serious. You're out of your minds.
Oh, you know what? It's just this stuff is this good. Like, we're honored to be here doing it, man. But I just wanted to give you some insight tonight. That like we paid attention to that stuff, and hopefully we're out there doing it, and we do it some justice. Long time ago,
you've made us proud, dude. You have made us proud. We saw the potential, and you guys have exceeded it. But don't let it go to your head.
A long time ago, I was behind the stage at a great big event. And I won't say what great big event, and I won't say who the notorious motorcycle bar owner was that was talking to me, but he said to me specifically that day, hey, look, you're starting to get, on the national newsstand, you're starting to make a name for yourself. People are going to start coming at you, and they're going to throw stuff at you, and they're going to want you to do this, they're going to want you to do that, and they're going to take out ads. Don't ever forget that you work for every single person that goes out and puts that money down for your magazine. That's who you actually work for. Those words. That's why we do this.
And that was my customer at the Broken Spoke. It was the same MO. If it was good for the customer, it was good for the Broken Spoke.
Yep. Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir. Well, Jay, listen, thank you, man. I hope in a month or so here we're having you on and we're talking about all the great things that happen in Bonneville. I would love to have you come on and give us that report officially, if you would.
Oh, I'd be honored. Let's do it. Hey, and who knows? Maybe we can do it during Bonneville.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, maybe not. You'll be busy.
We can squeeze it in. We can squeeze it in. Here, watch Heather's face.
Oh, you're a sick man. You're sick. Oh, my God, Heather.
Actually,
I'm sorry I said it.
No, actually, what I would like to propose is I would like to put him on our routing for Roadshow.
Yes.
And I would love to go to Bisbee and spend a day or two with Jay and get his full story.
Yeah, dude,
I would like to document that.
Let's hook that up.
Oh.
Let's hook that up. Maybe because we're not going home after Sturgis. We just outfitted the Sprinter truck. I'm going to send you pictures, but we just outfitted the whole 33% of the Sprinter truck is now TV studio. So it's like a whole rolling studio. We got
Jay, help.
So I want to come to your place. I want to see your joint finally, and I want to sit down with you and get this story, man. So if you have time for us this fall, we're coming.
Let's do it.
Right on, man. All right, Jay. Well, listen, man, we're going to cut you loose. Thanks for being on here with us tonight.
Hey, shiny side up, rubber side down. God bless every one of you. Hang in there, be tough, be strong, and don't quit living.
Right on, man. Thanks, Jay.
See you, Jay.
So awesome.
All right, wait a minute. So apparently you caught me yawning for a second because I'm watching the chat box and not the screen. I can't see what's live.
Yeah.
So Jay Allen is anything but boring and Shop Talk is anything but boring. But I just spent 8 days chasing a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old.
And let me tell you.
And let me tell you, I'm exhausted.
Let me tell you. So here's something I got to know, because I didn't have the benefit of, from the ground up raising any children. And they never run out of energy or questions.
Nope.
What in the hell?
Did you think everybody was kidding when they kept saying that?
Oh, my good God.
They're always like that.
And I loved them. I loved them like more than anything, dude. There is nothing better than having a little boy or a little girl look at you and go, "Pap, can we go do this thing? That was so much fun." It'll knock you clean off your feet. But so will answering all the questions and keeping up with all that energy, man. Because I'm telling you, like 12:30 at night, I want to die. And they were both like, "What are we doing tomorrow?" I'm like, "We're not doing anything. I'm going to pay somebody to come here and swim with you guys all day long so I can get the hell away from you for a minute."
Oh, no, it was outstanding though. But like, I thought keeping up with you was hard. It was like, I mean, granted, they were awesome. Like, they were so good. Swimming pool, the creek, ice cream. Like, they had like summer camp here. It was great.
Mark, dude, you know what I got to do with them?
The zoo.
Because like this is the thing, okay?
I didn't get no phone calls for ice cream, by the way, just to let everybody know. So if by chance Randy's listening right now, not a phone call for ice cream.
Wait a minute, Randy's doing an ice cream social in Sturgis.
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
See, Randy will bring me ice cream.
You were working.
Listen to what I got to do though. So like everybody knows in the age of information and digital media and digital entertainment, it's hard to get kids to do anything. I got to do something with our grandkids this week that my grandfather did with me when I was a kid. We literally went to the creek down the street from the house and caught mud bugs.
Yep.
It was the first time they ever even heard of what a mud bug is. Never thought about it before, and they got in that creek with me, and they had such a good time. We had to take them back for a second day because they had so much fun. We made little sandwiches and just like, we got little soup ladles and caught mud bugs and kept them in a little jar until it was time to go.
They thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, Missy just says, "Excuse me, Nona. Excuse me, Pap." That's what they say anytime they want to talk to you. They say, "Excuse me." Excuse me.
All right, well, listen, man, it's that time of the night where we want to give you guys a little sneak peek. If you've been watching the new series, Turnpikes and Tattoos, some great friends of ours, friends of the show, have been putting out this incredible series on YouTube, and every week they give us the opportunity to run a teaser for you guys. So this is this week's teaser, Turnpikes and Tattoos.
Daytona is the place that I was looking forward to going most.
I'm a white trash kid from the country. I'm super stoked to get to Daytona.
Bill Dodge builds incredible motorcycles. Everything he builds is meant to run on the pavement, the dirt, or gravel. That's his motto. You can take his motorcycles anywhere.
Freedom. We all love it.
Right.
That's why we're all together. We all do only what we love.
Willie Jones is a tattoo artist. He owns Tropical Willie's Tattoo.
As far as tattooers in Florida, he's one of the biggest names, period.
This is where I've wanted to get tattooed since I was a child.
Most of these young kids now that's got in this industry, I know about at least a dozen that started out tattooing for a while, and they've already gone back to doing other stuff.
Willie has survived the boom in Daytona. I can't imagine 60 tattoo shops moving into my town. He's created a legendary status.
Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I want to thank you for watching the flagship show of the Source Media Group, ShopTalk. We go live with ShopTalk every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's only one of the many programs we offer from Source Media. In addition to that, Wednesday nights we have a show, Cannonball Chronicles, that looks into the life and times of Cannonball racers as they prepare for this year's Motorcycle Cannonball. Thursday night, we have Bike Night Live that goes into the bike night culture, the food, the fun, the hanging out with people, and we even have some live entertainment. Sunday morning, Cyber Swap Meets kick off, where we have a sort of home shopping network approach to motorcycle swap meets, and we bring guys on that have live parts to sell right there. All of this in addition to our staples, which are Grease and Gears TV, live on the street from the events and rallies, Grease and Gears Garage, Grease and Gears Garage Roadshow. We look forward to bringing more of this type of entertainment to you from the home of Two Wheel Entertainment, the Source Media Group. All right, man, the Source Media Group. It's been my extreme pleasure to be part of building this thing, and thank you guys for supporting us. You can do your part all the time when we're up here on this show, any of the shows that we're doing. Just hit the like and share button. Make sure your friends and neighbors know when we go live so we can propagate the two-wheeled message even further.
Right on.
Some events coming up. Right on what?
I was just going to say, since you did that awesome commercial, we've added a show.
I know.
You didn't finish.
I know. We got to do a new commercial now.
I know, because we have Chris Simmons every Tuesday night with Coast to Coast.
Yep.
Super rad.
So some events we're going to go through real quick with you guys, just so we can get you up to date on the things that are going on as we see that. This is coming up in Sturgis for us. Obviously, our bike show on Sunday. Monday, we kick off the day with the Full Throttle Saloon Old School Chopper Show. 14th annual. We'll be out there with Steve Broyles all day doing that. These are out of order, but let me go to...
That's Monday, too.
Monday also. We'll be at the Vintage Motorcycle Day. This is the AMCA gathering of vintage motorcycles at the Iron Horse Saloon. Us and Carl Olson have been proud to bring you this for the last couple of years. Last year, Carl brought in old time bike games, and man, it's just a really, really good time in Sturgis. Our annual ride that we do, Run to the Line, this time going up Van Auker Canyon. Join us with that, leaves the Iron Horse Saloon. And who could forget the brand new Biker Rodeo, the Biker Olympics.
That was so much fun last year.
Right.
Mini bike racing.
They throw down. They don't play any games. It's great.
Yeah. And
dude, you put a mini bike in an adult's hands, and it's like they're morons.
And then
it's
put
great.
a Christmas tree there.
Yeah,
that was the icing on the cake. When we finally put the Christmas tree with it,
dude,
forget it. Forget it. So there's some other crazy stuff that we're going to talk about. We're doing the Black Hills Boogie Show again.
Yes.
We're going to do... can we actually say that this way?
You can.
A pimp and hoe party one night out at the Still Pony Campground.
Yep, you have to come in full pimp and hoe regalia, and there is $500 worth of prizes on the line for that.
I heard you saying that before, but I need some clarity. Is that $250 pimp, $250 hoe?
No, it's going to be
all
like
pimp.
It's all pimp.
Yeah, I mean you can't be giving money to hoe.
That's right.
No, we're going to do like 3 prizes, so it'll be like, like $250.
150 and
yeah, something like that. We're going to split it up between a couple people.
But still, the pimp's getting it all.
But I got my bell bottoms. I'm ready to go.
I got my hash pipe.
Well, then I'm good.
All right, so like I was telling you guys before, this is all leading up to Fight TV broadcasting our show 3 days after Sturgis is over. Sturgis Live, 80 years in a day, and man, like the way this thing is shaping up is going to be insane. We have 2 camera crews going every day, going after footage, going after history. We're going to tell you more information in this 180 minutes than just what happened in the 80th anniversary. We're going to tell you, hopefully, we convey the story of why this part of the country draws not only the motorcycle people, but those adventurous spirits looking for a little more out of life. That's my extreme
I'm really
honor.
excited.
Yep, absolutely.
I've had the pleasure of Chris has been working on the storyline for it, and I get to read it almost on a daily basis, and it's very exciting. It gives me... I read it the first time, and I got little goosebumps.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people reaching out and helping us with that. Because if you consider, man, like... not to badmouth anyone else's effort or anything, but it seems like every time one of the major networks has got involved, we always end up with the same kind of program from Sturgis. Naked, drunk people getting arrested at the end of the day. And like when I see these comments that go on social media from people who don't know our culture that say that we're just a bunch of fat, white, old racists, that's that's a little bit different from the community that I'm part of out there, because I see us as thinkers and searchers and journeyman philosophers, and people who are still willing to risk a little bit to get a little more out of life, man.
Amen.
And that's the story I want to go after. So hopefully we do go with that.
Yeah.
Also, while we're out in Sturgis, since we've had such a short season for this, we will be once again unveiling the T-Dozer.
My motorcycle.
Not your motorcycle. Stop
Damn
it. The T-Dozer. So if you're not aware of this, Twisted Tea every year has a custom motorcycle built just to say thank you for all their friends and fans out at the motorcycle rallies. And this year, this is the bike that they had commissioned us to build. We call it the T-Dozer. You can sign up for free to win this. You don't have to buy a Twisted Tea. You don't have to buy a Cycle Source subscription or T-shirt. You just visit twistedtea.com or text 24587 to win the T-Dozer.
It's my motorcycle.
I know you would like it.
And let me tell you, we've said that every one of these that we built were like really cool and we really like them.
I really like this one.
This one, I think the difference between anything else that we've done is we've built a bobber frame that fits a big guy.
Yeah, it's
like,
a
dude,
big boy bobber.
If you've always wanted a bobber, but you're too big to get on one, this is it right here, man. Look into it. Come look at it. Sit on it. And you're going to be blown away.
And
Don't get too
Mark,
comfortable on it. It's mine.
I honestly have to give some credit out to that too, because the inspiration for T-Dozer comes from a bike that, like, at the beginning of the Limp Nicky Lot days, when I'd get to somewhere, on my traveling motorcycle, and they let me ride this motorcycle that was called the Looky Looky.
Yep.
And that was a bike from Nash Motorcycles, and man, I fell in love with that bike. It became my my foster motorcycle through the Limp Nicky years, and finally we got to build something like that. So it's a great representation of a lot of things for us.
Yeah, it's a nice bike.
You want so what? You want to pay attention for a minute here and see if we can kind of wrap this thing up?
I was paying attention.
I think we're coming off the rails, headed back into the station, coming to an end here at ShopTalk. But listen, man, I want to thank you guys for letting us into your headspace, your homes, and sharing some time with us, because, like I said, it means more to me than you know. We're extremely honored to sit in these chairs, to be on the pages, to take up your time with the little bits that we have to offer this thing. Until next week, please do what Jay Allen said. Live your life. Live your life. Know what your goals are, know what your boundaries are, but go out and live your life, man. Don't wait for someone to tell you that it's okay to do it. Just go live your life. Be safe. Be sure what you're doing, but live.
Amen.
And I think with that, until next week, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Be safe, Felicia.
They probably didn't see that one coming.